welcome to this episode of Dungeon Masters New York. Today we're going to be talking about role-playing monsters in our monster breakdown. So first up, we have the Green Hag. Green Hag is a really cool monster because the Green Hag has a lot of story implications that you could use behind her, and she's just like a detestable, easy way to have somebody that the party can hate and not feel bad about hating. Because the way I typically would run them is I run them where they're just like, there's really no redeeming value. They're going around stealing and eating children, or like replacing them with changelings that'll come murder the family on their 13th birthday, that kind of thing. So they're pretty despicable. So it's a good foil for your party, especially newer players and lower level parties that work great. In terms of RPing the Hag, you would want to use maybe, just kind of like a disposition of, just like indifference and just like disgust for the party, and anybody who's not another disgusting being, like hags just hate, especially beauty. They're like reverse of most ladies. They like anything nice, they hate it. Just think, the wackier you go with it, the crazier, rotting fish heads on a necklace, human tongues nailed to the outside of the home, kind of a thing. Just gross stuff. And they're like, dearie, I sure, and they could do all kinds of things. They, besides having this horrible disposition, they can switch into people that the NPCs in the town or the party members might know and pretend to be that person. And as long as they don't touch them, they're going to think that there's no other way to tell, because through mimicry that the hag has, she can have the same voice as pretty much anybody, or make different noises like animals to scare the party. So she's got a lot of cool little tools in her little bag she could use, to mess with them and to really make things uncomfortable for not only them but the people in the town. Because she could disguise herself, go into the town, pretend to be somebody's wife or husband, and then create like a fair type, gossip situation in the town. And hags just love to watch misery. And besides stealing children, they love to watch misery. They're like a micro Rakshasa. Like a Rakshasa would like to start a war. A hag just wants to start infidelity rumors. So, or more than that, but that's entertainment for them. They didn't have TV back in the Sword Coast. So there's that. I think just RP that was just really gross and despicable. Give them a cool name, like Auntie or Grandma, or like mine was Auntie Magnolia Rot Blossom. So she's trying to think of a voice I did for her. She was usually she was speaking in other people's voices. She was mostly in her disguised self form when I did her. So when she did speak, she was just really it's like, now you've come to the wrong place, and I'm going to make you all pay. That ominous, vague doom that they always, say, I'm gonna get you. So there's that. So use the hag. Green Hag is great. She's got an AC of 17, and she's got 82 hit points, which is very high. So especially for lower level parties, I want to use this hag. I lower way down. I crank it down to probably 50 or something, or maybe even lower, depending on, because I just want the party to have fun and kill my stuff. I'm not there to, TPK them unless they make some extremely bad choices. But that's just my style of DMing, which also involves a lot of role-playing, a lot of, rule of cool type stuff. I'm kind of leaning more towards that school of DMing, so if you're into that, enjoy my videos. If you're not into that, hopefully you still enjoy my videos, but, I understand if you don't like that style. It's not for everybody, for sure. The next thing I wanted to get to is, I think I talked about all the hag stuff, so let's do my favorite monster of all time, which I first started using in my first games and I still use, which is the Red Cap. Red Caps are these sinister little gnomes, and they're, they're born from these mushrooms that grow when someone with an extremely murderous, bloodthirsty intent kills someone, and their blood spills all over the ground. These mushrooms start to form, these red blood-stained looking mushrooms, and then when a full moon falls on those mushroom caps, they spring up from the ground and actually turn into one of these hunchback gnomes that have a leather red cap drenched in blood and a little brooch, a gold brooch, and they're just have red glowing, sinister, smoky kind of eyes, and little white mustache, goatee, the little inscrutable evil elf. Not elf, gnome, but they have that like sharpened features is what I picture them as. They have big iron boots on, and they carry a big scythe or sickle, whatever you want to call it, from the Soviet sickle and hammer. So they just slice the shit out of the party. They're really dangerous, and they're really small, so they usually get, especially if you have the miniatures, they're really tiny. So the party will take them, at their size, and then get trampled, which is great because it's a nice unexpected combat for them, especially if they're getting comfortable just whacking the crap out of whatever else you're throwing at them, which I usually put pretty low-level stuff at the party besides something like this. Red caps, they kind of like, I don't really make them talk a lot when you roleplay them. I just have them say the essentials, and usually that's something along the lines of, like, I'm going to murder you, like, some evil cackling, involved, but you don't want to use too much talking with them because they don't really have a lot of personality besides their lust for blood and murder. So that's their thing. Besides that, with them, they have an AC of 13, which is a little low, for what I like, but they're accessible for lower parties to knock them down. They have a really cool attack called Ironbound Pursuit, where they run at the party member and just both feet forward, just jump in the air and splash them with both feet, like wrestling, like the old school wrestling. I don't know if they still do that. I haven't watched wrestling since is Undertaker still a thing? So since Macho Man, I haven't watched when he was doing his thing. They smash him and they knock the party member prone. Not only do they do, was it 3d10? Yeah, 3d10 damage plus 4. It's a lot of damage for a little guy. And knock the party member prone. And if you have several red caps, that can end in a very, very dangerous melee for whoever gets knocked prone. So there's that. Trying to think what else we would go on with the red caps. That Ironbound Pursuit. They got the big boots, so when you're RPing them, you just have it kind of like, I always make it where very ominous, where like the party members might be like in a long hallway, or like they might be above like a cavern and has like a ladder, and all of a sudden they hear like thump, thump, thump. And then they're like, what is that? And they think it's some giant beast, but it turns out to be this little gnome monster fae with a scythe ready to just murder the shit out of them. So fun monster. Use a red cap. I love the red caps. My next one I wanted to go over is Master Thief. Master Thief is cool. It's pretty self-explanatory. I usually make the Master Thief retired, like rogue type of a guy. The one I've been running a lot is called Van and Coil. My name is Van and Coil, and I'm going to steal everything you've got, and I might kidnap ya. Yeah, he was like a kidnapper. He was kidnapping women for the hag for her bloodborne coven, which was just crazy. But anyway, I make it like a retired rogue, usually kind of like a washed-up guy, washed-up kind of bad guy. Bad gray area to extremely bad. I usually go on the side of extremely bad, because I always want the party to... I give this guy a redeeming value, which usually works strangely, but, I want to make him as despicable as possible, usually, the Master Thief, because I don't want the party to start to get used to having him around and relying on him to do things for them, because he does a lot of that sneaking around. He has good dex. He has a multi-attack. He takes 3 attacks. And if he has a rapier, he's going to just whack the shit out of stuff. So I think I'm saying that too much. Whacking the shit or shitting it up. I'll try not to. So, he's got that multi-attack. He's got uncanny dodge, and he's got evasion, I believe. So he's a pretty slippery guy in combat. So you don't want the party aligning themselves with him too much. But as a DM, you can always control that anyway. So, our PM is a slimy guy is what I like to do. But, that's just an idea if you jump off from. The last thing I want to talk about is another cool monster called the Displacer Beast. Displacer Beasts are cool because it's like a jaguar that has tentacles, like these octopus tentacles that also have spikes coming out of them. So it's really cool monster to RP in terms of describing what it's doing, not in terms of, I don't really make it talk. I think if it did talk, it would talk something like telepathically. You could always kind of throw that on top of its, add some sprinkles on your game. Give it that telepathic ability to like, freak out the players with. Like, what's that thing? Not a Nimrod. I don't know, but there's that thing with the one eyeball. It's in Lost Mine of Fandelver, and that thing, telepathically speaks to you, and kind of... So you can do that with Displacer Beasts, because they are, like, an intelligent monster, but
you know, you could play them a little dumber. I usually play them more on the animal side than on the intelligent monster side, but if you want to make them a more short-term foil that has a plot, then you could do that even. Where they're like, you know, like reigning over a small group of Kinyu that they're kind of, you know, manipulating or kind of bullying or something like that, or bullywugs. I love bullywugs, little frog guys. We'll get into that in another episode. So Displacer Beast's like a jaguar with these tentacles. You know, they have that cool ability, which is displacement, where they are displacing light so that they can jump around, and you know, the party has disadvantage on trying to hit them. So as long as they don't hit it, which eventually will happen, it makes it a little difficult for them to pin you down, especially if you have 2 or 3 Displacer Beasts, which is, it's not uncommon. I usually use at least 2 Displacer Beasts to kind of get that, like, kind of like scarier effect from displacement. It's like, is it 4 Displacer Beasts? Like, what's happening right now? Freak them out, you know, same thing as the red caps, freak them out. You know, so you got that. Like I said, I don't want to make them talk. If I did, I guess they'd speak in a kind of a demonic tone, because it's telepathic, you know, because they are like a Fey monster as well. We got a lot of Fey in this one. The Green Hag, the Red Cap, and this, all Fey. This Fey is, they had the Unseelie Court, which are the Unseelie, and they basically found these monsters, which weren't so monsters, and they realized their potential as a hunting beast. They used them to hunt unicorns and Pegasus, and they bred them to be just like real brutal, like kind of attack animals, and they got so cunning they escaped and started breeding in the wild and doing their own thing because they were, you know, semi-intelligent, and or maybe they're more than semi-intelligent, but I'm not sure what the exact lure is. And they were eventually pushed to the edge of the Feywild by the Seelie Court, who was like, we're not having any of this. They came with their blink dogs and hunted them down to the edge of the plane there, and then they started kind of like spilling over into the material realm, similar to where red caps spill over like at Fey crossings, where the material realm and the Fey crossing is like where the Fey wild and the material realm meet. So it's kind of right in between, and it's kind of like the sweet spot for if you're trying to summon some red caps, or if you're a beast trying to escape some blink dogs. Ba-boom, that's your way through. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful, inspire you to not only RP and do some voices, but also add these cool monsters into your game. And we'll have another video for you soon. Thanks for watching the Monster Breakdown.